Okay, so I can't be the only one upset we have yet to see a sequel to Tron Legacy, right? I saw Tron Legacy in theaters and my mind was blown. This was the next big thing. The potential was there. The possibilities for world building in this was huge, and so much room for expanding upon it. The soundtrack is seriously one of the greatest of all times, and I still revisit it to this day. Daft Punk deserves all the praise for this soundtrack for real. Honestly, I put it up there with the work from the Grandmaster composer himself, John Williams, who of course composed the original and prequel Star Wars films, as well as Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, and the Superman film from the late 70s. And just like the score for Star Wars, the music is a very important piece in making Tron Legacy something very special, unique, and amazing. And the visuals, oh my god, are just jaw-droppingly awesome. How could you not be enamored with all the creative designs, from the costumes, the buildings, the ships? The aesthetic of Tron Legacy is truly unique and hypnotizing to look at. Even watching it over a decade later, most of it still holds solid. Well, aside from the de-aging of Jeff Bridges, but the technology just wasn't quite there yet. And honestly, I know some complain that the story is a little weak, but I found it very compelling and interesting as well. But the question rises, why haven't we got a sequel yet? While Tron Legacy was far from a flop, it didn't quite make as much as Disney hoped. And sad to say, it had rather mixed reviews. Not everyone loved the movie or saw the potential in the sequel as I did, and then Disney ended up buying Marvel in 2009 and Star Wars in 2012, which probably makes up more than half their new content these days. So then Tron was shelved, unfortunately. Discussion of a possible sequel have still happened over the past decade, with the most recent rumor being that Tron 3 would star Jared Leto and be directed by Garth Davis. But really, who knows at this point? I think you have to try and bring back Joseph Kosinski. He's proven time and again he is a pretty amazing director. He did a great job with Tron Legacy as well as with Oblivion, and now this year with the release of Top Gun Maverick. If he doesn't come back to direct Tron, he should definitely do Green Lantern or Superman. I'm just saying, hit him up, WB. By the end of Legacy, they kinda teased with the character Cora that programs can leave the grid. Kosinski said his plans for Tron 3 would have seen the story flop back and forth between the human world and the grid, and the programs from the grid would start to invade the real world, and people in the real world would go into the grid. The film was going to focus more on Cora over Sam, and it was going to explore what reality Cora really belonged in. That sounds like it could have been fun. I would have loved to see the programs come out of the grid and change the reality of our world to something insane and unconventional, trying to make it more like the grid perhaps. Disney being pretty busy with everything else besides Tron, I don't know if it'll ever happen or become a priority anytime soon. Unless the Marvel and Star Wars properties start to decline in popularity, or they start losing money, we may end up waiting another 20 years for a sequel. That said, whenever it's released, I will be there for it.